This is going to go over how to start setting up a storyboard like this. These repeating compositions of these dots will be created in After Effects. Draw out a shape, and this shape will represent the dot. We'll get it into the dot form in a moment. Right click and make a new composition out of this. Pre-compose. Calling it dot. Go within the dot composition and resize it. Composition settings. Maybe down to something like 400 by 400. This will be the background. BG. Scale up the background. And then you can lock the layer. This way it's not accidentally selected. Import some art. Okay, import the butterfly, composition, layer, size, and the dancer. Composition, layer, size. Going to the dancer folder, dragging down this piece of art, scaling it up. Click on the rasterize button, since this is illustrated art, to make it nice and crisp. Going back to the main composition, and there's our square, but I don't want squares, I want circles. With this layer selected, pick up the shape tool. Look at the icon change into the masking tool. I want a circular mask, and as long as this layer is selected or this piece of artwork selected, same thing, shift and drag out a circle, and that's a proportional circle as opposed to an oval. If you want to nudge this over, pick up the move tool, go under the layer, under mask, click on mask 1, and you can use the keyboard arrows to nudge over the mask. If you don't like the mask, then delete mask here and redraw it again. To duplicate this for production needs, we need a few of these. In the project area, Command D or Control D to duplicate it. Go within the new composition, dot 2. Unlock the background, change its color. Select layer 1, and now go to your other icon. Select that, and with layer 1 selected, hold down the Option or Alt key and drag and replace this layer. This butterfly looks bigger than the previous icon. Go shrink it down. Go back to the main timeline. Duplicate this layer. And the reason you're duplicating this layer because it has a mask on it and maybe you have other effects on it that you want to duplicate and propagate throughout your composition. Command D or Control D to duplicate it. Move one aside. I'm selecting this second layer, going to the project area, selecting the new composition that we just duplicated from the original one, and Option and drag and replace this selected duplicate layer. And now we have our art here. To adjust the art, you could just simply go in here and just move it over. Going back to the main composition now, your art doesn't do anything. You could keep on mass producing the art. Let's add a little script to these things to make them breathe a little bit. That's scaling. This is a script that will be used pressing the S key on one of the layers and then the Option clicking or Alt clicking to reveal the expression area. Pasting that script. It's a wiggle script. Do something 10 times per second. Scale 40%. When I click off, if you want this to slow down, here's a softer pace. Now you can continue pasting that script onto all the compositions. If you got one composition working correctly, though, this one, and you want the next one to have all the same parameters, the mask, and now this script, just duplicate this layer, selecting the new layer. You can see now they both know how to do that animation. Select this new layer and just replace it from the project window with your new composition like that. Now both of them will be able to do this. If you need to adjust the scripts, Those scripts are on here. And this would be a good to wire into a controller so you can universally change things. If you don't want to go the controller route, that's cool. You could do it all within here. If you want to go faster, at least one of them, maybe I'll change that by 10, and you want a greater variation in scale. And this first one will go fast like this, while this one is slower. Having the script right on each one gives you flexibility. Making a controller that everything is wired into gives you the ability to make quick global changes to your animation. I'm going to quickly add a new layer just to wire in a script. This will be the layer that will contain the controllers. I'm going to rename this Control. It's my control layer. Right click on it, make it a guide layer, so this way it won't render. On this guide layer, place the slider effect. Slider. Here's the slider control. On top of this control layer, drag a slider. I'm going to rename this slider Speed. And this one will be Amount. The layer name is Control, Speed, and Amount. The speed will be how quickly to animate things, and the amount, how much change in scale will occur. This is the new expression. Speed is equal to finding the control layer and getting the speed slider's value. Amount is finding the control layer and setting the amount from the value. Then wiggle, speed amount. Gotta copy that and paste it here and also on my other expression. And now whenever you duplicate these layers, they'll be wired into here. Let's put this into use. I need to adjust the numbers. Right now the values were 0, so it's not going to do anything. You could increase or decrease the scale amount and how quick this will happen. You can adjust it also as it plays. This way you can have an interactive way of fine-tuning your animation.